Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to Wes's Side Story. I'm, of course, the host, Wes. And so this morning, what do we got going on out here? Turns out that the spring in my doorknob has stopped working. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and change and put a new one in there. I have one lying around, so I try to use what I got. So, all right, let's get a crack-a-lackin'. All right, so you know what I'm talking about. So I shut the door, but it don't latch, right? So we look in here, and this thing right here, no matter if I turn it or what, the spring has just died. They don't do nothing. So we're gonna take these, take the Phillips head screws out of it here, and we're gonna replace that thing. All right, so here we go. I got the screws out, the doorknob part. And so here's the spring mechanism in there, but it's turning and it's just not doing nothing anymore. So we're gonna pull this out. All right, so now with that, you can get this out of here. Okay. Sometimes you got to use a screwdriver to help you out a little bit. All right, so here's what I did. I took my screwdriver and I put it at the back and I just used it as a prying thing and pulled it out of there. So if this gets stuck, you can either a flathead screwdriver or a Phillips. I used the Phillips. You can do that and see how it pries it out. So, okay, now that I got this piece out, I gotta find something to replace it with. All right, so right here is what I came up with that I had. Now this is from a Brinks, okay? So I gotta modify this just a little bit. So this part right here, I'm gonna completely cut off the plate right here. I'm gonna completely cut that off with an angle grinder. Okay. So that black piece that moves right there, that's what your doorknob turns and pushes and makes this go in. All right, and I got a little ahead of myself, but all right, so I got my angle grinder with a cutting wheel, and I have the piece that we're going to be trimming up here in the system. As you can tell, I done cut one side off. This cutting wheel is amazing. Let me see if I can do this. And I kind of cut into the casing a little bit. All right, so that's what happens when you're trying to film and paying more attention to your camera than you are what you're doing. But that's okay, it still works. But I did cut into the casing just a little bit, but no problem. So I'm just gonna square it up a little bit, and I'll be right back. All right, so there we go. I got it fairly squared up pretty good. I believe it'll fit in my door hole now. I am going to take a file and just clean it up a little bit, and then we'll work on the other part. All right, so here's the file I'm going to use. It's just a fine file. You can get files like this that take off a lot of metal, and like this. But really, for something like this, you need a fine scaled file. So I'm gonna hit this just like that, kind of follow this up a little bit, and I'll be right back. All right, so there you got it. I got all these rough edges and any burrs that might impede me of putting it in the actual door. All right, so here we are. We're back at the door. So we got our empty hole. And so I got my piece that I modified. Now, this is going to catch on here. So you want the flat part to whichever way it's going to catch on the door, okay? All right, so now with that being said, I'm going to put it in like this. Looks like it fits good, okay? So make sure I grab the outside portion of the doorknob. Fit it in first. All right. Let's see. Yep, everything looks like it's lined up. So, all right. So, all right, if you've made it this far and you're having trouble putting the doorknob on, if you look inside this doorknob, which, hang on, let me shed some light on the situation. All right, so if you see, there's some grooves in there. All right, basically, it only goes on there one way, so you gotta line it up properly. There's like the half moon in there, and there's two ridges on the one side that keeps it from going on a certain way. So you gotta line it up properly. You can only do it one way, basically. So now we can put our screws in. And it should be so nice and lined up that you can finger tighten them and they'll stay in there. All right, so once you get that far, grab your screwdriver, tighten it down. I always alternate them. I don't think you have to. All right, anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get this tightened down. All right, so now that everything's together, all right, looks like it works. All right, and it has gotten cold out here. Like, temperature dropping pretty quick. As you can see back there, it's almost 50 degrees. All right, thank you guys for watching. I hope you all have a safe and blessed day out there.